been spending time with a good friend more recently, but I think he's only doing it so he can look at my daughter. The last few months, I've been chatting to a friend more regularly than previous. We've been friends for over a decade, and we used to be really close, but we slowly drifted apart. I should probably mention that we are both men in our 40s. It's been great catching up with him, and honestly, I really needed a friend, so it's just been great. He's got a long-term girlfriend and 2 young children. A couple of months ago, we visited his house for the first time. He recently moved, and we weren't speaking much before that, just an occasional comment on Facebook. And me, my 14-year-old son, and 20-year-old daughter spent a few hours, honestly just chatting about nothing, but in a good way, you know? While we were there, I noticed that he kept looking at my daughter out of the corner of his eye. I never really caught him fully looking, so I didn't think much of it, especially as he has known my kids for over a decade. I didn't mention it to my daughter as I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable if it was nothing. A couple of months went past and we visited them again. He kept talking to my daughter and not really me, which is fine, but it just seemed odd when my daughter has really bad anxiety and she can't really hold a conversation, and she makes it clear when she's uncomfortable talking. He just seemed to keep looking at her and talking. Even if he was talking to me, he would just look at her. The final straw was last week. We visited them and we've been having a heat wave, so we were all dressed in as minimal as possible. My daughter in a thin pair of skirts and a t-shirt, my son in a pair of athletic shorts and a gym top, and me in a polo shirt and white chino shorts. Nothing unusual, just basic summer wear. When we were all in conversation, he would look at my daughter. When anyone told a joke, he would smirk a little or give a small laugh, depending. But if my daughter told something mildly funny, he would really laugh to the point that even she would look awkward. He kept dropping out of conversation and just staring at her. I think she noticed it as well because she started to lean back in her chair to try to cover herself, even though she was fine. She looked uncomfortable. Then, when the sun set, she put on a thick jacket and zipped it up. I don't know if he's just trying to be friendly and he doesn't know how to act, or if he's only inviting us around to stare at her, and if so, then I don't know what to do. Yes, she's 20, but she's still my little girl, and this man watched her grow up. It just seems strange. I don't know if I should say something or just don't go there again. Either way, I think it's the end of the friendship, which is a shame, but oh well. We have an update. Update from my last post. I spoke to my daughter about the whole thing and wanted to know what she thought about it all because I didn't want to say anything if she didn't think it was odd. She told me that after the first time we saw him again, a few months ago, he had appeared outside of her work after she finished her shift and asked if she wanted a lift home instead of getting the bus.
No.
She said that since he was a good friend of mine, she trusted him and got in the car. On the ride home, he repeatedly touched her leg and started talking about how much she's changed since he saw her last, before we all met up, and how much of an adult she looks like now. He told her she's growing into her body, quote, like a good girl. My daughter said that she would walk the rest of the way home because she didn't want to put him out too much, but he insisted on driving her all the way. She said she kept moving away from him, but he was leaning to touch her knees. She said that at a red light, not long before the house, he gave her his mobile number and texted himself from her phone and told her to call him if she ever wanted a lift or, quote, anything else. Then, when she got home, she went to leave the car, but he grabbed her arm and asked her where his hug and kiss goodbye was. Not a new thing. He gives us all a hug every time. And when she leaned in, he held her tight and whispered that she should call him. In the last few months since then, he has repeatedly been sending her explicit texts and images and waiting outside of her work, asking her if she would like a lift home, even though every time she's said no. She said she didn't want to say anything because she didn't want to upset me, as he was the only friend I had. I feel sick thinking about this. This is my daughter. She's 20, but she's still my little girl, and I feel like I've put her in danger. I've messaged him asking him to stop contacting my family, and I've sent him the screenshots from her phone as reasons why. But he is messaging me asking me why when she is an adult, and the only sleazy thing he's done is cheat on his girlfriend, as my daughter never physically said the words stop. She just ignored him. I'm so angry at him and myself. I'm just sick.
I feel so bad for this girl because she clearly felt like she couldn't tell her dad.
This is your only friend, Dad. I didn't want to upset you.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah. Oh God.
Poor thing.
Oh God.
My sister stole my late wife's wedding ring and gave it to her daughter. Okay, so here's the deal. My 38-male wife, Emily, passed away 4 years ago from cancer. It was the hardest thing that I've ever gone through, and honestly, I'm still not over it. We were together for 15 years, and she was my everything. When she passed, I kept her wedding ring in a little jewelry box on my dresser. It's a very sentimental item to me. Fast forward to now. My sister Claire, 41 female, has a 17-year-old daughter, Maddie, who just got engaged. Yeah, 17. I told Claire I thought it was crazy for Maddie to get married so young, but that's not the main issue here. A few weeks ago, I noticed that Emily's ring was gone. I freaked out and I searched everywhere, thinking that I had misplaced it. But deep down, I knew that wasn't the case. I didn't want to accuse anyone without proof, but I had a feeling. Then, at Maddie's engagement party last weekend, guess what? She's wearing Emily's ring. I would have called the police right fucking then and there. Wouldn't have spoke to nobody about it. Would have immediately called the police. I confronted Claire in private and I asked her why Maddie had it. She tried to brush me off, saying Maddie fell in love with it when she saw it once. Claire thought I would want it to go to family since I wasn't using it anymore. How the fuck did she fall in love with the ring that was kept in a jewelry box in OP's bedroom? Absolutely the fuck not. Are you kidding me? I lost it. I told her to get the ring back immediately or I was calling the cops. Claire flipped out, saying that I was being selfish and ruining Maddie's big moment. Either you get the ring back now or she spends the night of her engagement party in jail. You fucking decide. I don't give a fuck what you think. Call me selfish. Call me everything under the sun. Make your fucking decision. I really don't care. That ring was my late wife's and it means everything to me. Now, the whole family's involved. Some people are on my side, saying that Claire was way out of line, but others think I'm overreacting because it's just a ring, and Maddie's a kid who didn't know better. Maddie is 17 motherfucking years old. She knows better. You mean to tell me at 17, Maddie doesn't know that stealing is wrong? We should get that checked out. We should have her evaluated for something. If at 17 she doesn't understand that stealing is wrong, we should have her checked out for something. Y'all might be able to get a check for that. Maddie's crying. Claire's calling me a monster, and my parents are begging me to just let it go for the sake of peace. Damn peace. Damn peace. They came into my home and stole something that belonged to my late wife, something that means the world to me. And you want me to just let it go because this 17-year-old thief is fucking crying? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck that her mama is calling me a monster when she came into my house, into my bedroom, and stole something and had the nerve and audacity to say, well, you weren't using it, so I figured you'd want it to go to family. If that's what you thought, bitch, you should have asked me. All they had to do was open their fucking mouth and ask. But no, they decided we're going to take it and then throw a fit when we don't get to keep it. Are you fucking kidding me? I can't just let it go. It's not about the ring being valuable. It's about what it represents. I told Claire that I'm giving her 1 week to return the ring or I'm filing a police report. Now everyone's calling me dramatic and threatening to cut me off if I go through with it. I feel like I'm going crazy. So am I the asshole? You're absolutely not the asshole, but I'm going to tell you, you need to go ahead and file that police report now. Damn giving them a week because you don't want to give them an opportunity to lose the ring or for something to accidentally happen to it. I truly feel like your family's threats of cutting you off is a blessing in disguise because do you still want to be associated with people like this? These people are telling you that you're a monster, that you're wrong because your late wife's ring was stolen from you and the person who stole it doesn't want to give it back. And you're wrong for wanting it back. Do you really want to continue considering these people your family? Because I know one thing, my family's not perfect, but I will still call them family because they would never do no shit like this to me. Family does not treat their family like this.
I'm with Asel for asking my husband to include our children when spending time with his estranged son. I've been married to my husband for 20 years and we have children, including my 24-year-old stepson James. When my husband and I first met, he was still married to his son's mother. But we fell in love but did not do anything physical until after the divorce was final. I met James when he was 5 years old, and almost over 20 years that I've known him, he has never liked me, despite my efforts to make a relationship with him, and he has shown no interest with his siblings. When he turned 18, he left home and would occasionally call, spend time with my husband, but never our children and I. Recently, I asked him to include our children when he spends time with his son, but James has not spoken to him since. Now my mother-in-law, who's always favored his ex over me, has called me and accused me of being the bad guy for hurting my husband and his son's relationship even further. I understand that it may have hurt his feelings, but after 2 decades, I feel like I have exhausted all other options trying to form a relationship with them. I love my husband and our children, and I want them to feel included and valued in our family. It's not fair for James to exclude them from their life because he has a weird relationship with me. James is part of our family, and I want him to know that, not at the expense of my husband and my children.